I'm Bradford Ambers for The Breeze, and today we're going to take a tour of the new Bioscience building located on the east side of campus.
It is 3.5 stories. There's a ground floor that you don't see here, and then you see the 3 stories. We'll talk about how it's organized a little bit later. It's designed to capture all the runoff from the site and hold it. So you'll see this swale here that goes down to a retention pond. And then there's another retention pond on the other side that captures all the water from the roof and dumps it out that way. These things will grow up and be really lovely.
And the intent is that the building will be LEED silver. So a lot of what you're seeing with the swale and the retention ponds, the plantings, etc., are because of that.
So we've tried to tie the 2 buildings together. So you'll see some feeding areas here, some plantings on the other side.
Do you have classes that are going to come out?
Oh yeah. Well, they'll be using the plants. We'll talk about that when we get to the other
The
side.
university will be taking care of the plants. We deliberately put in a variety of trees and other sorts of plantings so that it becomes a classroom, an outdoor classroom.
Yeah.
More formal on the other side, but still all of these trees will be available for classes.
So once you walk up here, you see the height difference that we had to work with between this building and physics and chemistry. We're adding some other seating. You can see this is all designed so that you can sit down on it. We will be adding some seating on these various levels here and a little bit more up on the top here. This is the main entry, but before we go in, let's just take a look here. That wall right there is actually a teaching wall. There's a blackboard on the other side, and there's a second one of those outdoor classrooms on the other side of the building. The greenhouse you see here prominently on the south side. So let's walk in the front door.
Let me add a couple of
Go
more
ahead.
things. Along with the LEED silver, that roof right up there, as you'll see when we get up there, is a green roof. And one that you can't see is on the ledge between where the greenhouse intersects with this larger piece. And so there are 2 green roofs on this building that are part of that LEED silver certification.
So are those kind of like solar panel work? How do those work?
No. They're just plants. So there's sedum and various kinds of herbs, and the idea is to cool the building, cool the roof by using those plants.
Well, you can see this is the retention pond down here. So all the water from this side of the building drains down into here. And all the plantings are designed according to the amount of water that might be in that basin.
Oh, that's very elaborate process.
It is
Yes,
very elaborate.
very elaborate. So let's go in the front door here. Now you know where the front is.
Like our people being formed.
So you'll see how light and bright the building is. You know, lots of external light coming in. There's a mural here that was done by a 1999 biology alum that goes up all 3 floors. So it's a DNA helix, and then she's done some stylistic depictions of various organisms. One of the ideas for the building was to have biology on display. And so you'll see that in the furniture, you'll see it in the mural, you'll see it in accesses into laboratories and windows into labs. And so even when we picked out furniture, we picked out things that were serpentine, that used natural products, natural woods. And you'll see that throughout. The building is designed so that on the left-hand side, as you're facing north, are research laboratories and faculty offices. You can see that on the diagram right there. And the class labs, the instructional labs, are on the right-hand side of the building. And then there are 2 lecture halls, one on this floor and one on the second floor. These acrylic panels, the lighting isn't what it's going to end up being. They're going to be backlit, so they'll be very vibrant and stick out. You get a better sense of that from the one on the second floor. The theme of the building is also biological. This is the earth floor. So you'll see the tone here. The next floor is canopy, it's green, and the next one is sky, and it's blue. So, that
And
kind
if
of
you
biological theme.
Look
Go
at
ahead.
the organisms that are on the mural on each floor. They reflect the theme of the floor. So these are the earth organisms.
So let's go down here and take a look at this lecture hall. This room here holds 120 people. It's got dual projection screens. You'll see the projectors up ahead there on these little trackers. Very nice acoustical panels. Again, light materials, bright. The room sounds just wonderfully.
Yeah.
So it should be very easy for someone to stand up in front without a microphone and be easily heard.
Yeah.
You'll also see the seating here. It had to be arranged in a certain way because they vary in width. Out here briefly. This is another entrance to the building. So you can get into the building very quickly from the festival by using this. You'll see we have some cubes designed out here for students to hang out, eat lunch, and whatever. Again, this is the drainage area for this east side of the building. And around the corner here, this is the second of the teaching areas. So you take a piece of chalk and come out here with a group of students. And these gardens out here are designed to be systematic gardens, so they can be used to illustrate various things for classes. So it's a wide variety of different species are planted here. The architects did a nice job, I think, of turning something that started out as a box into something that's got some curves and flair, and it blends in nicely to the curvature that you see over there in the festival,
Yeah, it
while still maintaining the same kind of color palette. But you'll see variations and differences. They also bumped the building in and out, so it doesn't, again, look like one long facade, but it has some real interest to it. And then it also has features, you can see how the windows are being shaded there. And they use different kinds of
When
colors.
you go
of
out and you go out to the other side, you'll notice that unlike this side, the other side has eyebrows
Yeah.
above each window.
Right.
And they're not, they allow light in, but they also provide shade. And so the patterns are really interesting.
Yeah.
As the sun gets around to that side and starts to go down, patterns change and play over that side of the building.
This tent was set up yesterday for alumni who have students entering as freshmen,
Oh,
you know, sons and daughters.
okay. Right.
And it has really turned out to be a beautiful spot. You know, it's between our building and the Lilu Center and the library, and I think this site's going to get used quite a lot for gatherings and groups. I think they had something like 320 people.
Oh, wow.
So that's an exit from the building. It's not an entrance to it. So you can get out of the second floor lecture hall and go straight outside and directly over to the festival. So let's walk around the first floor here. You see light materials all throughout the building. We have some more of these benches which we have ordered. So again, faculty offices and research spaces on the left-hand side, instructional laboratories on the right-hand side. You see in all cases you can see into them, you know, from multiple points. And a lot of the labs actually have windows into them. Okay? So all of that brings much more natural light into it. And you'll see inside here, the architects also bump things in and out. So rather than seeing a very long, narrow corridor, you get some relief. There are two elevators in the building. One of them goes on the first to the third floor, the other one goes the ground floor to the third floor. We have typically two areas like this on every floor. We call these student tutorial spaces. So we've got some cool furniture in here that students can move around, and also an interactive panel right there that we're getting set up. You can plug your laptop in, you can do whatever. The faculty offices are entered from these doors here, and they're off a corridor, so they've got a little more privacy and quiet and so on, and they're grouped in what we call neighborhoods. So you'll see the faculty offices are along the hallway here. They're in a group, and if you have an office here, your research laboratory is either there or there. And oftentimes you're teaching right across the hall. So it really helps in terms of efficiency of design and layout and function. These glass surfaces here are designed so that you can write on them with a marker and wipe them off. So it's another instructional surface, if you will. They've got little kitchenette areas here. So there are typically 7 or 8 faculty offices.
It's a great area for students.
Yes. We've got some wave benches here. And these, again, are these acrylic panels with embedded biological materials. We designed the instructional labs so that they had everything they needed in them, or they were adjacent to a shared resource area, like an environmental chamber or something like that. If you go into one, you'll see they're all open. An instructor and students, you can see everything in every one of the labs. We don't have any labs that are blocked where you can't see what's going on. Partially for safety reasons, but also we just wanted it to be light and bright and open. If they are doing dissections or things that generate any fumes, these things pull down and you can go right over whatever you're working on. Yeah, they're space
They're very
age.
space age.
Space age umbilical. All of the instructional laboratories, as well as the classrooms and so on, have all the technology you could ever want. The screens come down. You see the whiteboard in the back there? It's actually a film. It's not a heavy piece of metal that you mount on the wall. It's a film, and then they put the border around it. The labs are typically paired, so that there'll be a lab like this and another one on the other side. And then in between, they're prep room areas. Okay, so this prep room then serves the lab you're in as well as the one on the other side. Safety was very important in terms of a consideration here, and right behind you, this is one of the safety stations. So everything is designed to be in one place. If there's a spill, you pull this, it's really great. It's so visible and everyone knows where it is. The layout of the various labs is different depending on what course is being taught there. Typically they hold 24 students, sometimes 16.
A lot of glass where you can see biology happening. It's not only a light passage, but
Right.
it's very much part of this biology on display. And so on this side, you're seeing teaching going on this side, you'll see research going on.
And you've probably never seen a staircase like this.
No.
We wanted light to come in, and the architects did a great job. This area here is the microscopy suite, which is where a lot of prep work will go on, but also some of our higher-end microscopes are located in small rooms over here. This whole setup came from the national funding from the National Science Foundation, and we're going to go through and upgrade this probably this fall.
Is this available to all students, or is this more for classes and
No,
research?
this is an instructional lab right here. Okay.
The department is very focused, as many departments are, on undergraduate research. And one of the beauties of that is that any piece of instrumentation we have can be used by students. And we teach them to do that. So when they leave here, they're able to go almost anywhere and understand the instrumentation and be able to use it. So, yeah.
That's really
So
great.
this effectively is a support lab for an instructional lab right here. These are all touchscreen panels. And you'll see that they're on these articulated arms. So when you want to use them, you just pull them out, and then you can push them back to get them out of the way if you're doing something on a benchtop. Obviously, a lot of thought went into this building. You know, what do you want students to do? How do you want them to do it? And then we tried to design everything accordingly. And we're still fine-tuning a few things, but I think we got most of it right.
Who did most of the work behind the design? Was it creative, collaborative process?
It was, and the faculty were involved. They created some of the vision from the very start. And then Judy and I spent more hours with architects than you can possibly imagine, you know, over a couple-year period, and contractors and everything else. But I think it worked. Again, we wanted to be able to see. We wanted things to be light. I think we've done that. We wanted things to say this is a biology building, and once you see the classes going on and the students doing research with faculty members, it's going to be real obvious. So let's keep on walking through here.
Who came up with the idea for the 3 different themes on the floors?
It was, you know, the whole process was iterative with the architects. You know, they'd come and meet with us and they'd say, yeah, we like this, we like that. And then, you know, it was an evolving process. And someone would say, well, what about these acrylic panels? What about this? And, you know, so lots of people were involved. Our facilities planning and construction people, our procurement people, housekeeping, you know. It's a big operation to design and open up a new building.
And for a university to really involve the faculty in it is a very big plus.
So let's go into this research lab.
That one's okay.
So this is a lab that is shared by several different faculty members and the students that work with them. And you'll see you enter, and there's some little cubby holes here that can be used for books and so on. A closet there that can be used for lab coats and so on. We've got computers set up, printers, and basically these little rooms that have everything you need to support this lab. So if you need a fume hood, for example, we have a fume hood. If you need a -80 freezer, we have freezers, right?
Wow.
So it was, again, designed in terms of the equipment as well as the layout to support the work of students with faculty. And so that's how we've equipped the building and are still equipping the building. We started moving in May, and people are still getting set up, as you might imagine, and we'll be ready for classes on Monday, or mostly ready. Yeah, right. This is a really nicely designed computer lab. So we'll have courses in here and so on. You can see the huge amount of writing surface up in the front. Again, these are touch screen panels.
We're calling it a computational biology
Correct.
lab.
Yeah, so what kind of biology classes are going to be on computers?
There are several modeling classes. There are GIS classes.
Bioinformatics.
Bioinformatics. So there are quite a few different things. We have found that this kind of layout works really well. We set up a lab like this in Miller Hall a couple of years ago, because here you have 3 students who can be working together, right? So we really like this kind of trapezoidal layout. And we can move stuff around, but this is a very efficient design.
Yeah. Seems like a lot of the kind of arranging of the building went into the trying to make the teacher-student relationship easier and make it more.
Exactly. And have these spaces where people can gather. You see, we're setting this room up. This room has 5 smart boards on it. And it's set up in a couple of different configurations. Right now it's set up to hold 60, but very often we'll have it set up so that it'll hold 35 students or so, maybe 40, arranged around here. So all of these tables can be taken down and stored, and the chairs as well in a room back over here. So it becomes a very, very flexible space.
One of the things that the department, again, the biology faculty wanted were spaces where active learning could take place. It was focused on student learning, not on teaching. And so this space was designed so that you could actually have 5 groups working together and doing their own thing, and then that can be projected up there if need be, so all kinds of conversation. But we also realized that some people might want to teach in circles, you know, or have something like this. And so this room is designed to do that.
It's great that you have the tools that you have 5 groups, each
Well,
with their
yes.
own smart boards
Yes,
to work on.
that's right.
We've made major jumps in terms of technology too, in terms of what we can do with images, how we can display them, how we can share them. So it's really exciting. And now we're training the faculty to use them. These areas are called biology on display.
It's a cool chair.
And we've got some really cool chairs here. This is the second floor mural. We will be adding some vegetation, some plants, you know, to kind of break up the colors and so on. We're really happy with what Allison did with this mural. It's just really turned out well.
Yeah. Did she go and do each one individually, or
She did
kind of
each
do it
one
as a-
and put it all together. The biology department office suite is here. Hello. The mail and copy room and so on is here. This is one of our favorite rooms. It turned out really well, like we designed it. What we wanted to do is have a room where students could work in groups together. So we designed this with tables, 2 tables on each tier. So if I'm sitting here, right, I can swivel around and work with the people right here. So it's really designed for working in groups of 4 or 8, however you want to do it. When President Alger walked in here, he started smiling and he was thinking about all the ways that he could possibly work with students.
Yeah.
Because again, it's designed as a collaborative learning environment. So we've got 3 tiers and 2 tables on each tier, and it holds 72 students. And again, 2 projection screens on these projectors on the elevator.
72 sounds like a big number, but looking at the room, it doesn't look.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Both rooms came out really well in that regard. They don't look like they hold as many. Yeah, John asked me, he said, what does this hold, 40, 50?
Yeah, that sounds
No,
more
John,
like-
72.
It looks more like,
Yeah.
That's just like the one downstairs, it holds
Yeah.
120, but it's so shallow that you don't get, as a student, you wouldn't feel lost, and as a faculty member, you could easily access
Right.
all of the students
Yeah, it's always intimidating.
to be in a big,
Yeah.
oh, yeah,
Yeah, no, the rooms aren't as intimidating as the usual huge lecture.
that's
halls.
exactly right.
Oh, I should point out, they use this kind of chair all over the place. They flip up and they stack,
They
and
stack.
so, you know, you can move them around and put them in different settings.
And
And
we've
they're
designed-
very comfortable.
And we, just the little teeny things, I've been thinking about that, you know, what kinds of things do we have to look at? We made sure that these chairs matched the chairs in the multipurpose room we were in, so that if we needed to exchange or supplement or something, we could do that. So all these little, they were these little things. you
Yeah,
know. So,
down to the fabric.
That's
color.
why you need
Down to
all
the fabric,
of
that's
these, all
exactly
these
right.
groups like procurement who, you know, they buy stuff for a living, you know? They know about fabric and they know about seats, and that's not our, you know, we don't know about that stuff. So they were very,
They
very
were
helpful. They're just terrific.
Now, these walls are all acoustically
Yep.
designed.
Yeah, it's a maple. And again, we wanted it to be light and bright. So if you go out this exit right here,
I'll be taking a couple classes later, so.
you can go right down the stairs and there you are at the festival. Okay? So you don't have to go through the whole building to get out. So you begin to see how there are different tiers outside.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of space for students outside. Really great. And you can see the view opening up here. Just wait till you get to the next floor. the view becomes absolutely spectacular. So this is the third floor mural, and that's a pretty amazing view. On a cloudless day, you can see forever in that direction.
And as you might guess, we're now at sky,
So you'll see blue up there.
and you see the organisms.
So our office suite is right behind here. And we look out on the green roof. So there's the green roof. And that goes all the way around the side on top of the second floor lecture hall. But what would happen is we'd have the architects come here and they'd meet with a group of faculty members that were designing a particular lab, right? And the architect would do some sketches and they'd go back and they'd come with a different slight modification. And so it was that kind of iterative process that was going back and forth with the faculty that really helped. Plus, the biology department had a vision in mind for the kinds of spaces.
Yeah.
And we probably didn't get them all designed, but we got a lot of them. And we got a lot of variation, and that's what we wanted,
Yeah.
is to use places in a different way.
So if you had the time to go to each of the research labs or go to each of the class labs, they're not rubber stamps of each other. They reflect the kind of research or the kind of teaching that's going on in there.
Right.
And the faculty had that opportunity to design it.
They're all different, but they're all connected too.
Yes.
You know, they're
Yes,
all-
Yes.
yeah. And people can see what's going on in these various spaces. Now you'll see some shelving down there, and people may have run into an electrician or two. We're still doing some fine tuning in the building
Right.
and finishing it out. We will still be ordering some more equipment. But we want to work our way into the building, see how it works. And I'm sure we'll make some adjustments after the first semester, but we're ready to go. And I think it's going to be a really exciting space for students. And the technology is just going to be off the charts. You know, you can share images from one microscope to a whole room, and that's just really fun.
I love the light and being able, when I walk down these halls and I can look on either side and see things happening, that's really cool.
Yeah.
The old building, Burris, was like a fortress, it
Yeah.
didn't, and you didn't know there was life there at all. And this is a biology building, and a biology department. You want to know there's life, and boy, you can see it. I'm very excited about the classes starting because I see
Yeah.
the students in here.
Advanced planning is going on too, because how this building is located allows you to build another building along Carrier Drive between here and the library, right? So you define another quad, and it turns out it has almost the same dimensions as the Bluestone quad.
Do you know if there are any kind of how this compares to buildings that other colleges have?
No, but I can tell
More
you,
advanced.
I can tell you a comment I
We've
heard
both-
yesterday.
We've both been in a lot of different buildings that have been designed. And I think this is a step forward in a lot of ways. We have art in a science building, right? We have openness and light and, a lot of things that make it a place that you want to come to, right?
Definitely.
It's as nice as any science building I've seen. And I've been in a lot of them. We're ready for the next building. We're ready to go.
I hope you get to check out this new building on campus. This has been Bradford Ambrose reporting for The Breeze.